Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Ren, and yeah, this basically me talking about MBTI. Yeah, so basically MBTI this time while we are talking ENFJ. Yeah, and usually I mean like in 16 personalities itself, they somehow they praise ENFJ a lot. Yeah, they praise it really really hard. Just like one day how they try to praise about like ISFJ or like the INFJ, like the FE type, they really make it like really nice. Right now I'm just thinking maybe they are really like those people who are FE based, since the society itself sometimes people who are much more judgy itself is the people who are FI. Hmm. I mean, TI people also like to judge, but they will just always say that it's just my thinking, and they don't really try to explain everything onto other people. If they speak, but they don't like to explain everything. Yeah, so basically, in this way, hmm, the ENFJ for me, somehow they have both sides. They have the very wonderful ENFJ, as well as like some type of the ENFJ is really pretty corrupted. I mean, I saw both of them because we are inside a church, and usually in the church we attract idealists. I already say idealists. They always want to come to the church. Did I say that before? Okay, but anyway, yeah, I say now. Yeah. So basically, the ENFJ themselves, as well as the INFJ, ENFP, and INFP, usually they are really attracted to the church, and because they want to seek for the ideal, they want to seek like the ideal world that they thought about, that everybody living with their morality, and the world will be in peace. At least they try to believe in this way. And is this situation true or false? To be honest, sorry, false. So basically for it, yeah. And that's why like ENFJ, they a lot of time they facing a lot of issues and problem, because most of the people only try to treat them as the nice people, but thinking that they are also affiliative onto other people. Uh, when we mean the affiliative, a lot of time we just think that yeah, it just means that people who wants to be like we know the object partners and the subject partners and object partners, right? And a lot of time we put affiliative together with the object partner. But actually for ENFJ, no, they are not. They are much more focusing on to like trying to choose the emotion. Yeah. So basically, hmm, I think I already do quite a lot of like the introduction onto the ENFJ in some sense. Yeah. So let's look onto the functions. So today I don't have pen, the colorful pen. So that's why today I only have like this type of like the words, only black and white. Sorry, black is word, the white is the paper. It's not really white, it's not really black, but anyway, you all can just differentiate it. So with the ENFJ, so on the top we're starting with the FE, and then we'll come to the NI, in, introverted intuitions, then the extroverted sensing, then the TI, the introverted thinking. So basically, what does it mean? They are always doing external feelings onto other people. So external feeling of other people. So I always sensing other people, and without me helping, I can't really tell why, and it just keep on like acting onto it. And if we draw into like a structure itself, the FE and SE, they both are the optimistic functions. So your brain just reacted in this way, and you can't really help but do it. Sorry, but ENFJ, you can't help. You always feeling other people's emotion, and just with their slightest reaction, maybe just a little bit expression, facial expressions, and even how their hormones react. And you smell something like an emotion, everything, you just sense it. A pretty good sensor for emotion. Pretty good. Yeah, the issue comes right here because of like a very good sense of itself. So ENFJ, the parental figure is not something that you just continue to feel. It's much more like what you want to choose. What is your goal for this group of people, or like what's the goal for these people? The emotionally, what's the goal? Like probably yeah, the easy answer happiness, but what kind of happiness? Yeah. So ENFJ is supposed to choose in this way. They choose to do something, and they do something. They perform. They perceiving all this kind of informations from external environment with people. They choose. They firstly they choose, then they perform it out, and because of the performance, they are satisfied. It's supposed to go with this sequence, but a lot of time our ENFJ is living in fear. Why? The fear is right here, the TI, the introverted thinking. So just thinking about it, I always say that the number four function is the most annoying function you can know. Why? Because you want it. You know that you have the ability to access onto it at least a little bit, at least a little bit. But at the same time, you don't have the full access onto it. So it just become a fear onto you. So basically, what TI means, it means that you're thinking like your judgment about like, okay, I think in this way, I think in that way. You are really precious. Like you are really like trying to protecting this kind of like a function from you because thinking coming out from you is so precious. It's like something that don't come out all the time, even though sometimes it's immature, but it's not coming out all the time. So you want people to listen to what you are talking intellectually, but not the emotional part. Emotional part for you is like all the time you just access it is auto access all the time. Yeah, it is nothing special. But about the TI fear right here, you want people to listen. But a lot of time people will just deny, and once they deny yourself, like I already explained how the T and TI is different. For T, everything is structured. So if you deny one, it means that only one part of it is wrong. But for TI itself, for TI logic itself, is like the whole line, just all the dots being connected together. So once you deny one part of it, it means the whole thing is being denied. So the whole series compound is being denied, and the world just collapse. Yeah, so usually, what happened to the ENFJ in a problematic way is that they don't listen to anything anymore. They believe in their what they are thinking. They only react and perform or other people's feeling, and just because they don't want to look bad onto themselves again. It's not that they feeling themselves like in terms of value becoming bad, but they are afraid they are standing on the wrong side of it. So basically, how to overcome it for ENFJ? Study. Yeah, sorry, but study more. Or else, the only thing you can do, yeah, go to meet more difficulties in your life, get hurt, and then learn. The only thing, right? Because see, anything you can learn to make yourself better in the sense, like especially in the society. I'm not saying that you are bad, okay? But like the way to make you to be much more fit into society is everything inside your shadow. So let's go into it. FI your morality. So how your morality, how your self value being determined, everything comes from your shadow side. So shadow side is a little bit awkward as well. Why? Because it's like at the same time you feel that okay, I have this ability, but at the same time I don't always access onto it. So the only way for you to access onto it is that doing something you don't really like. So because you're doing something you don't really like, you look back onto your own morality and you suffer. Yeah, and basically it has come with the NE, so the expansion of your self value. So If I don't feel like this, if I have this kind of feelings, how about other people? If I if I will feel that I am really bad, and how about other people? If I can feel that I'm being hurt in this way, how about other people? So it's this kind of like a thinking itself, like the value of like is this good or bad itself, it comes right here. It's on your shadow function somehow to support you to build up your value system. But everything up here is much more like a performance voice. So somehow a lot of people misunderstood that ENFJ as somebody who is much more like a, you know, like a server, but actually they are not the server. Most of the time they are not. So you look at it, ENFJ, then they go to the ISTP. ISTP is always like performing what they are thinking they think is right. There's like their happy state is out, the subconscious, yeah, their subconscious side. They perform what they think that it is right, and then they feel happy. But if they just come to their unconscious side, they start to look at other people, then also like judging onto their moralities in a way, but it's coming from other people's intention. So other people's intention right here is the critical part onto it. So basically, what does it mean? Yes, maybe have bad intention. You don't feel like you being like a value. Yeah, this is how that being triggered in a sense. But to be honest, yeah, if you're staying in a society, is the most important thing is that you recognize your own value and you're not asking other people to just stick with your own value. Somehow, in a way, if you want to just live a much more simple life, it's not trying to asking other people to stick onto your value, but you stay onto your own value. Yeah, that's the most basic way. And then let's go down to the ignorance is the SI. So basically, what this means? Oh, they don't have self discipline. Oh, they don't have um, their comfort zone. Oh, they don't have their own routine. Yeah, basically everything is right. Yeah, so as you can see, like ENFJ, a lot of time they will talk about future. They focus on future so much. They will be like, yeah, I think I need to do this, I need to do that, and they will just all in everything into it, and they're like, yeah, just fight until the end. But if you're asking them, okay, who is the most precious people for you? They'll say that, oh yeah, my friends and everything. But a lot of time they are missing their parents, or like, I mean, their family. Yeah, in a sense, their family. And why this always happen is because of their SI ignorance in this way. The ignorance is really crazy. I would say I will use the word crazy because it is something that you needed so much, like for you to keep your life to be stable emotionally, like for how you interact with other people, and for you not to be like always being floating all around. It's so important, but at the same time, yeah, you just look at onto it and you're like, yeah, you have nothing like that, and it's just making you suffer. And the only thing you can try to do a little bit like an adjustment of it is that you're using your parents function, that NI function right here, and you just keep on choosing the same person that you want to. Yeah, and it's a little bit torturing, to be honest. Yeah. So just to let you all know, I'm not trying to making you down, but trying to let you in. That's the INFP, and then when we go to the ESTJ itself, I mean the ESTJ. Firstly, I already talked about the SI function, the introverted sensing. Then the last one is the extroverted thinking. So coming from like a fear itself, people proving that they are stupid, then they will just come to the structure, and the structure itself is saying that okay, because of everything in the past I had did, they have bad memory somehow in a sense. But okay, because of everything I did in the past, or like everything that I experienced in the past, I'll just make it into a rules for you to follow. Will just make you a way to not bother with me. But at the same time, usually ENFJ in their really like super ego itself is the time that they learn the most. So that's why I say For ENFJ, if you're just aiming yourself to gain more knowledge or like to be better, uh, don't be afraid of meeting difficulties and being suffocated. Yeah, because that's basically how the way that you finally learn everything. You start to listen with people and listen to people around you. That the only bunch of people that will just be staying loyal to you all the time. Yeah, so because of ENFJ, like their ego is right here. So they can just really like fight for a long time and not being like truly being, how should I say, shaken by other people. But at the same time, they're really fragile inside in some sense. So yeah, try to treat the ENFJ friends around you to be a little bit better. Yeah, and I will just talk about like their specialty. So basically, let's go with the ENFJ. So ENFJ, they're idealists. I already explained idealists for few other people, and they're abstract. They don't talk something like a directly, but they are talking much more onto ideas. I feel you. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, yeah. I got you, man. Yeah, I'm not trying to make it fun of you, but that's how ENFJ usually make me like sounds like make me having like this kind of like an impression onto it. Nothing bad. It's much more like your character, and they're abstract, they're affiliative onto some certain people, especially when they choose to trying to protect some of the people, and they're going with interest based. So basically, I already explained onto the ideas list, and yeah, interest based. I don't think it's like a too much issue for you. And for the ENFJ going with structure, they're talking much more direct. They don't explain. They don't they don't think too much. Yeah, they just go direct. And initiating itself, they will just want to keep on voicing out whatever they want in their mind. Same as starter like me. Yeah, but a little bit different as a starter and a structure. Since the starter itself is much more like, yeah, I have all these kind of ideas, blah 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 blah. Then I just feel that I'm afraid other people will just misunderstand me, so I explain this and that. And but for structure, no, they just talk something really direct and saying that okay, this is this way, this is that way, this is this way, and do you feel happy? I hate this question, but somehow a lot of time I just heard this like suddenly a questions thrown out to me. Then the only thing I can do, yes, as an ESFP, I'll just say that, yeah, with a lot of doubt. Yeah, I know, but that's how it goes. So there's like an initiating insight and also control. So basically, control as a structure is not surprising. As an ENFJ, a lot of people would just say that ENFJ is not controlling. No, 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 no. They're controlling the emotion. They don't control the whatever like a thinking thing or like a structure thing. They don't control, but they're much more like trying to find for the emotion that everybody trying to do together. But a lot of time, they are really smart in some sense. I met one of the ENFJ, so basically, whenever he wants people to be more happy, he will just put music, and somehow, like sometimes he knows that his music is not really okay for certain environments, but he would just try to do it. Yeah, that's how his own contribution that can be made, and at the same time like ENFJ, but at the same time ENFJ there are some certain type of people. I mean ENFJ needs to be really careful what you're exposing to. It's not that whatever on your social media it means that everybody is believing onto it. No, social media only serving like some portion of like a truth. Only a partial truth itself is always the most interesting. Just a reminder, only a partial truth itself is always the most dangerous things, and ENFJ need to know that very carefully. Yeah, so don't think that whatever you know right now is everything. and trying to be critical a little bit. I mean, some of the ENFJ, yes, they are doing very good. They are trying to be critical, but at the same time, it's not their responsibility. And that's why we all need partners and we all need friends. Yeah, that's the reason why we all need friends. Somehow, I have the blind spot, you have the blind spot, and everything coming in together, how to make it better. Yeah, by people around us. Yeah, just go back to like the ENFJ themselves. So a lot of time they want to do something, but at the same time they are being limited. So what they do, they just try to cry out and try to manipulate onto other people, and they will be narcissists. A reminder: don't be like that. You trying to explain yourself, and if you found that you can't explain yourself intellectually, especially in this society, you need to study more. Yeah, no objections. You need to study more, and it's not even an insult. It is much more like a status for you. Yeah. So basically, that's the ENFJ that will come together. So yeah, the ENFJ. Yeah. So yeah, usually ENFJ. I mean, from what I saw, ENFJ usually for them to go to blessing themselves, they are really suffering. Yeah, because actually in their mind it's not something that aiming for family. They don't aim for family, to be honest. They aim for ideal. And when they aim for ideal, in especially when we talk about like a marriage relationship itself, it's much more like you are always trying to stick on to some certain people. You're trying to be better on certain people. You're trying to stick onto it, and you're trying to invest most of the time onto it. That's how it's supposed to look like inside the marriage. But what happened to the ENFJ is that they are spending a lot of time onto the idea they are chasing after, and because they are chasing after onto those kind of like idealism in their mind, so it just making them to have much more lesser time onto the people they love. And maybe a lot of people just claim that no, like somehow they already talked about it before. Yes, they both talk about it because usually, guess what? The ENFJ like to go to find a INFP or like a ENFP, or maybe a little bit better to be INTP or ENTP. Yeah, they were just usually trying to find those type of people and trying to be together. But the problem is still communication is the key for any kind of relationship. You're spending so much energy, you're spending so much like communication energy. Okay, yeah, just use the word energy. Communication energy on outside, and you're trying to keep on talking with other people, and when you come back home, you're losing your own power, and you become weak. You're becoming like you lose your patience. Yeah, you're just basically putting too much effort outside. So yeah, always remember using your parents' function. Choose wisely what you want and what's your goal. And is it the goal that making your ego much more bigger is always working well, or like are you just dropping into your own ego again, the trap that your own ego set for you to fill in your future? Yeah. So always consider it better in this kind of sense. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. If you enjoy this channel, you can just put a like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And basically, yeah, ENFJ, yeah, you can just throw to a lot of people, especially in UK. Yeah, so basically, yeah, like that. I hope you'll enjoy. Peace.